Hey, welcome back to Coffee with Cagnetta, and we are still here live in New York at the Theorist Podcast Studio, and we couldn't be in New York without having Eric Straus in. So, Eric, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Eric, again, a name synonymous with New York, the Straus name. Your family's been here for a long time?
Been here for a long time. Came over on the Titanic. If you watched Titanic and that old couple that was going down,
Yes.
hugging each other,
Yes.
that was my great aunt, Ida,
Right.
who said she didn't want to get off. She'd been married to him for 55 years. She wasn't going to leave him now, and she went down on the
Wow.
ship. Yeah. Pretty
That-
impressive, right?
Yeah, that's crazy family
A lovely
history.
romantic story. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So your family was coming over at that time?
Mhm.
And so how did the rest of your family get over? They all weren't on the Titanic.
No, they're not on the Titanic. I'm not exactly sure how we all got over here, but we've been here for quite a while.
Right. And so your grandfather was in business here?
So my grandfather was Nathan Straus,
Right.
who was quite important in the start of Macy's,
Right.
and then got into the broadcasting business. And my dad followed him in the broadcasting business, and I followed my dad into the broadcasting business. So,
Yeah, so the family had a long history in the radio business, and you were in the radio business, and as like any good son would do, wouldn't listen to their father or did something different, right?
yep. Working with in our business right now, we see a lot of father-son teams, and
Right.
I always say to the son, "Trust me, I know it is a bear working for your dad."
Right.
It's tough. And my mom was involved in the business too, and my sister
really?
too. So it was a real family business, and it got to be difficult, but learned an awful lot, and they were fantastic teachers. And my dad did some great things. The first radio station in the country to ban cigarette advertising.
Really?
Yep. In the hopes that we would set rules so that they would allow cigarette advertising after kids were in bed. So, like from 10 p.m. on, but that didn't happen. So, it got banned completely. Also, the first station in the country to editorialize for Nixon's impeachment.
Hmm.
And interesting story there. The following week, there was an IRS audit and an FCC inspection.
Obviously, you passed both.
Yes.
So, and it's so funny. I just saw what did we just see last night from the audience? The Broadway show with Just in Time. So we saw Just in Time, and they actually mentioned that Bobby Darin's career started by Murray Decay, which worked in your family's radio station. So that the family radio station really built a lot of careers here in New York.
Yeah, that's true. The WMC good guys were pretty amazing back in the days when there were 3 or 4 or 5 AM radio stations covering all of New York City, and WMC was one of them, and the good
Right.
guys were just a phenomenon.
Right. So you grew up in that business, but you decided to branch out and do something else, and you got involved in the internet.
Well, so I worked for my dad for a while.
Right.
Then he sold the station in '86, and I was working for the new owners, and an investment bank called me and said they wanted to talk to me, to interview me. So they interviewed me, and they did media mergers and acquisitions. And so they hired me, and I did media M&A for 18 months working for them.
Right.
Did 14 deals in 18 months, which I'm
Wow.
quite proud of. Yep. They called me at that place. They called me Rod Carew. A lot of the guys were working on $1 million fees and $2 million fees, and I was cranking out the $100,000 and $200,000 fees, just selling little newspapers, little radio stations, little television stations all over the country. It was a fantastic experience. And I saw these idiots getting rich in the radio business, in the media business, and I thought I wanted to be a rich idiot. So my dad was selling off his last radio station up in Ellenville, New York, a town of 4,000. And so I said, go out and get offers and let me match your highest offer and give me better terms.
Right.
And so I ended up buying that station for $1 million, 10% down, $900,000 over 10 years at 10% interest.
Wow.
So
That's a lot of interest back
a
then.
lot of interest, but I mean, I was very lucky that I had that opportunity, right?
Right.
So I went from being this sort of big swing and you-know-what in New York City as an investment banker. I moved up to Ellenville, New York. The most expensive apartment I could find was like $250 a month, right? I mean, it was just middle of nowhere. And so I go to work on day number 1 and listen to the morning show on the day driving in, and the morning guy announced that VAW, the largest employer in town, announces they were closing their doors at the end of the year. Not a good sign for the radio business, right?
Yeah, sure.
And then I get to work and the toilet's overflowing. And about an hour in, the chief engineer comes to me and says, the past owner's been underpaying me for years. I need triple my salary. And I'm like, dude, this is day number 1 for me. Let's talk in 2 weeks. He's like, nope, now or never. So I had to triple his salary. So anyway, my parents are both quite entrepreneurial. And about 9 o'clock at night, my mom calls me and says, hey, Ricky, how's day number 1 going? I'm like, oh my God, you're not going to believe it. The VAW announces they're closing their doors. The toilet overflowed. The chief engineer is, totally sticking it to me. And she says, hey, Ricky, welcome to management, and hangs up. That was day number 1.
Wow.
But it went pretty well over time. We were selling spots for $1 a spot back then. I got the
Wow.
rates up. I got better programming. And then went and got an SBA loan and bought some more stations. And over the next 10 years, I had 10 stations throughout the Hudson Valley of New York, Ellenville and Kingston and Poughkeepsie and Catskill and Hudson. And then very luckily, Clear Channel was sort of gobbling up everything. Now
Right.
iHeartMedia was gobbling up everything. So I sold them those stations in 2000.
Wow.
And I like to always point out that I've owned a couple of businesses before. I've always used an intermediary when I go to sell my businesses. So
Right.
I like to talk the talk.
Well, we didn't even say that yet, that Eric, one of the reasons Eric is here is obviously he is our franchisee here in Manhattan, and he has been for how many years?
15 years?
15 years.
like
And
that.
he's a Hall of Famer here at Transworld. So he not only is a well-loved son here at Transworld, but, an amazing partner. So, you got out of that business.
Got out of that business. And then, so this was 1999. The Poughkeepsie Journal was doing in their Help Wanted section $15 million a year. Total radio revenues in Poughkeepsie were $12 million a year. So I came up with this idea. Why don't we start a local job board? Online was becoming a thing, right? Promoted on my radio stations to go up against the Poughkeepsie Journal. But the sort of little magic thing that we figured out is I got my radio competitors in the market to work with me. So these guys would stab me on the back every day to get business from me. But I went to them and I said, look, let's all get in bed together and let's really stick to the Poughkeepsie Journal. And that sang to everybody. So I had 22 radio stations promoting HudsonValleyHelpWanted.com, and the thing took off like a rocket. So I went back to my investment buddy friend from Ansbacher, the firm I used to work for. We went on a road trip, raised, I think, $2 million,
Right.
and launched, if it's in Poughkeepsie, why not everywhere, right? So it was me and my business partner, Bill Cloutier, would just travel around the country, like Southwest, got a lot of business from every little burg to every little burg. And we'd have Louisville Help Wanted and Tulsa Help Wanted and Buffalo Help Wanted. And the model was the same everywhere. Get all the radio broadcasters in the market to work together to promote their local job board, to stick it to the newspaper, basically, in the market.
Wow.
And we got that to 30 million revenues and 7 million of EBITDA. And then in 07, I didn't know Help Wanted is a leading economic indicator.
Right.
I'm a radio guy selling unsold inventory is what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah. So all of a sudden things started to slow. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but we better get out. So we went out and hired an intermediary, went to market, got 18 bids, and Warburg Pincus ended up buying us. So,
Right.
and that was 2008. Due diligence took 6 months. I call it the world's longest colonoscopy. 6 months. We closed in February 08,
Right.
and arguably the world fell apart in March. So
Wow.
we got very lucky in timing wise.
Right.
And then I went and started another. I had to work for Warburg for 2 years. I learned that I'm not a very good employee.
Right.
After my 2 years was up, I went out and we started another sort of the same model in the coupon business. We went to radio stations, got their free airtime in exchange for a revenue share. Anyway, it was a miserable flop.
Right.
So very,
Sometimes you win.
very humbling. Yeah.
Right.
So now I'm 50 at that point. I have no genius idea. My wife suggests I go to a franchise expo. So I jump on a plane. I go to a franchise expo in Miami. And I can't see myself selling Auntie Anne's pretzels on 9th Avenue. But I bump into, actually, this guy's at a Sinorama booth with a huge mitt. Just this huge hand. And he pulls me in. I'm like, dude, it's JT Tatum. I'm like, dude, I can't do sign around. I'm colorblind. Like, this is not for me. He said, oh, we got some other things. And he pitched me Transworld. And anyway, the rest is history.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. So it's been an incredible run. And so tell us about Transworld. I mean, you've been doing Transworld for 15 years. What have you seen here in New York City over those 15 years about buying and selling businesses? I mean, I think one of your big complaints sometimes is it's a tough landlord town.
Yes. In fact, one of the great silver linings of COVID is landlords were always very difficult to work with, and now they're just difficult to work with, right? It's better. It's a tough landlord time, especially in retail.
Right.
There's a lot of cash going through businesses here. It doesn't
still,
seem to get
right?
reported. Oh, just pretty much any restaurant, any retail business where the tax returns reflect reality is an exception.
Wow.
I'm setting up a liquor store, and he said, I promise you every dollar's on the books. I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, anyway, It's remarkable. So one of the cool things is there's just so much business here, right? There's just so much opportunity. And we have a team of 6 guys. There's no infighting. I think it's the same in Florida too. It's just like like, there's so much opportunity to get listings. There's no reason to fight over things,
Yeah.
And we're having a good year. Could always be better. Some deals are going to close. Some deals have fallen through, but that's the nature of the business.
Yeah, and you've been bringing on some young people. We talk about young people a lot, and you're starting to sell some businesses to young people. We're seeing young people be more entrepreneurial.
Absolutely. Well, don't they say the millennials are going to be the richest generation?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe thanks to us.
Yeah, they're going to get a lot of baby boomer money, right?
Yep. But I mean.
And then hopefully they're going to do something with it.
And they don't want to work for the man.
Right. A lot of them don't want to work for the man.
Right.
And they're starting to buy businesses.
Yep.
So what's your advice to young people? I know you have a lot of young nieces, nephews, kids. What's your
Well, I guess this is coming from Rod Carew, right? I'm a singles guy. I would just say it's all about blocking and tackling. Just, do the work. And I don't want to sort of mimic what you always say, but just it's get the listings, right? It's all about going out and getting businesses that are priced right, that want to sell.
Right.
And don't be sort of waylaid by the sparkly things that could be a lot of money. Go out and get the deals done.
Cut your teeth.
Exactly right.
I mean, you seem to do that, even with your kids and everybody, that you make them worldly. You give them a lot of different experiences, and you want them to have a lot of different experiences.
No question. In fact, speaking of kids, one thing I want to say, which I'm very proud of, I'll plug this here. My daughter, we have a lot of entrepreneurship in my family.
Yes, you do.
My daughter is starting a new cereal. In fact, we just mentioned the New York Times business section yesterday. I'm quite proud to report. Yep. It's called Man Cereal. Creatine, low carb, high protein cereal, launching in September. So eatmancereal.com if you want to sign up.
Eatmancereal.com. My wife is ordering it. She's over my shoulder. She's now ordering some eatmancereal.com.
And they raised a low 7-figure number. They went
out and did a little roadshow?
Yep. I'm so proud of them. So it's really exciting. And this is not singles ball. This is like home run ball, right? I mean, they're getting the cereal business. Very exciting. Yeah,
cereal businesses, there are some of those businesses like the beverage business, the food business that, it's a struggle. You got to get shelf space, you got to get traction. But if you get traction,
the money's big. No question.
Because you don't even need to make a lot of money. It's not like our business, like where, a lot of small businesses have multiple of earnings. You start moving product, people want to be a part of that.
No question.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. That is exciting. So what are, I know you're bi-coastal now. You're both on California, New York, back and forth. What are some of the fun things that you like to do here in the city or even on the other West Coast?
Well, I'm an avid tennis player, more avid than good, but I do love it. Play a lot of tennis. And, when I'm here in the New York area, I get to see my son. Out in California, I get to see my daughter. That's it.
All right. Yeah. What are your favorite places to eat in New York?
Wow. Okay. So I always tell people, I have a long list of people come to New York. Gray's Papaya at 72nd and Broadway. Best hot dog in the world. no question.
You know, I've seen that. I saw that on a TikTok that they said it was the best
Yeah.
hot dog.
I mean, you got to go. My wife always says I'm ridiculous. There are no seats. You just go in. Anyway, fantastic. As far as fancy places, I love Tamarind, which is an Indian place downtown. Quality Meats is my favorite steakhouse in town.
Mm.
That's a good start. I can
All right,
keep rambling on.
That's a good start. You know, I think, what are you most excited for in the future with Transworld and everything? You know, some of the other entrepreneurial things that you do. I mean,
Well, I mean, I guess for Transworld, people talk about the silver tsunami. I think there's no question, right? People that
Right.
are our age
We're
and
seeing it,
older,
right?
yeah, no question, are retiring and need to sell. And so that's a great opportunity. And the next generation is coming up and I think ready to buy businesses. So I'm excited about the future of Transworld.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
It's been going good. Eric, what's the best way to get in touch with you if somebody wants to buy a business here in Manhattan?
Straus, ESTRAUS at tworld.com.
Eric, thank you so much for being a part of Transworld. Thank you for sharing your story. It's amazing. Appreciate it, my friend.
Thanks, Andy. Good to see you.